You see, over 6,000 years, God is patiently waiting because He's not controlled by time and space. Now, after you have understood all of that, the laws of inheritance, we are no longer bound by those laws because there were systems of that particular time. You see, every time has its own system. And as every time has its own system, God continues to communicate to us within our own system now. There's no way we can go back to patriarchs. And the people who use the Bible of the patriarch system, it is because they lack a pre-understanding that those verses are not of finality. They are not the final verses. They have initiated God's revelation. But God will move on slowly from generation to generation, depending on the new systems as they come, until His revelation will reach maturity. We have to be very careful as we read the scriptures. You see, as I said earlier, tithe has vexed so many people. It has vexed people because Malachi has even exaggerated as typical Jewish hyperbole. That if you give tithe and offerings, food first of all will be so much in your house that God will even rebuke the eater because you are not eating it quickly enough. But there are already people who are giving tithe who are starving. They are working very hard, but they are starving. And they read those verses very carefully, and they wonder what happened to them. Why are they not having enough food so that God can rebuke the eater? You see, those are very important questions. Theologians and pastors, when they are confronted with those questions, they tell people that they are satanic. We cannot dismiss these things carelessly like that. We have to give a rational explanation to the people. We have to make the faith and the Bible teaching relevant to our people today, so that the people today can have confidence in the Bible. How many years have we been giving tithe and offerings, and people die paupers? And yet people who have never given a single cent in tithe and offering, they drive Prados. And they are very rich. They are billionaires, they are millionaires. And those who are giving live hand to mouth. How do you explain that? Isn't that if you took that literally, without having a pre-understanding of the system of that time, you will make God a liar. And it will annoy you very much that this God does not keep His word because this and that. But systems change as time go by, as the people mature in faith, as the civilizations take over. You see, people look at the people of their own time. That's why we always emphasize that time. People of that time. He was a man of his time. She was a woman of her time. We keep on emphasizing that in theology as we update these things must be updated. I stayed in a hotel one day in Nairobi. I had gone there for a company meeting. And I met a Briton. We sat together for breakfast. And as we were eating, he came to know that I am a pastor. And then he says, oh, you are the people who tell people wrong things and you make them believe by faith. And then I asked him politely, why do you make such a statement? He says, because it is you pastors who have refused the Bible to be updated. You say the Bible, you can't touch it, you can't, and the more you tell us that, the more you are driving us away. See, we must make biblical teaching relevant to our people today. You see, we cannot just throw away this holy book simply because it is the ancient times. We have to tell them that at that time, that was the system. But God can update his system from time to time, depending whom he has chosen to do his work. Therefore, the covenantal system you have, I'm coming back very strongly on that one. That's at a risk of being repetitive. The covenantal system we have covered so far, where there's even tithing and offerings. It was a Hittite covenantal system, which was not even actually religious. It was purely secular. But that secular system, it is what Moses knew to communicate religious issues using that very system. If God was revealing to us himself today, we came to contracts, we would have transferred our contracts in religion to the Western way of making contracts. And we do it even now. You see? Yes. We use secular contracts even if we are making religious contracts. So that was the same thing at the time of Moses. God said, I have to make a covenant with you. Okay, sir. And since God does not write anything for those he reveals himself to, the only way Moses knew how to communicate this covenantal system was using Hittite covenantal system, which says, if you are good, you will enjoy my protection. As a king who has conquered another king could say to his subordinate, I have conquered you, but if you remain faithful to me and you don't rebel, you will enjoy good things. You will eat well. You will have peace. But if you rebel against me, I will attack you. I will kill you. I'll make sure that you don't have peace anywhere. You see? Yes, you will die by the sword. Now, Israelites lived at that time. And since they did not have any other covenantal system at that time, they agreed by the system every word and every comma and every semicolon, because that's what they knew. Where we are heading, we will see another covenant, which I will break it down for you. It will be very different from Mosaic covenant. But at this time, I am handling Mosaic covenant. That's where this word if came in, by saying, if you are good, if you are good. The if did not come from heaven. The if came from a system, which is already there to contrast good behavior from rebellious subordinates. You know? And that's why Israel took it as a gospel truth, because there's no way they knew anything else. And wherever a problem came upon them, the first question they were asking, where have we gone wrong? What haven't we fulfilled? What is happening? God, what have we done to you? Because the Hittite covenant system says, if you find yourself in trouble, that shows that you are not doing what you are supposed to do. You see? Now, even up to now, we people, we have not been educated enough. We have transported those things which were 60,000 years ago to ourselves now. When we go to any believer's house and something very unfortunate has happened, we whisper in their ears, do you have anything wrong which you have done? Are you having any hidden sin? Please, brother, confess it out. Otherwise, bigger troubles will come. Troubles don't come to us simply because we have sinned. Troubles come because we are living in a sinful world. As long as we are living, and that's what the book of Jonah, Job is all about. It is to show you, it was to show the people who lived in those days that even if you are very good, you can suffer. That's what the book of Job